in your bag for the day. You looking bad as you wanna. Thought you had a man, I made a fat ass of some. Turning necks and pumping brakes. When that ass hit the function, it's time to go to work. Do the math, I'm a punching.
What it is, we are back. This is season 3 of the motherfucking interlude.
Yes, sir.
Brother, how you doing? How you feeling? How you feeling about this season, man? I know we both know.
I'm excited, man.
You know,
definitely excited. We got a lot in store for you guys. We coming with it, man. All gas, no brakes.
No brakes. No pedals, no none of that.
Nothing.
But yeah, but no, for sure, man. We just gonna hop right into it, man. This for this first episode of season 3, we really just want to touch on a few questions we've seen like over probably the past month or so. But we feel like they're pretty. I would say they're relevant topics. I think the people we're gonna talk about are pretty relevant. So we'll start out. I know I posed this question through Qualified. Be last month at this point. But I posed the question of who is the bigger artist between Beyonce and Drake. So it's funny because I posed that question because Black posed the question to me and Phelan actually, and Black's choice was Drake, and so I was like sat down and like thought about it more, and I don't know. I feel like it's closer than what a lot of people will give credit to, but I just don't think. I don't think Drake has. I don't think he has the same reach, and that's not a knock to him or the reach that he has.
Elaborate when you say reach.
He doesn't reach as many. He does. I don't think he reaches
his
impact as many people.
His impact. Okay, so when I was diving deep into like who has the bigger impact and stuff like that. When you talk about the era that we in, let's say right now, if you go off of streams, many people will say Drake is the bigger artist. Last year, as a total, Drake accumulated, I want to say like 50 billion streams, opposed to Beyonce's 10.
I don't count streams in a lot of shit.
Exactly, but we talk about the whole scope of like somebody who would generally give, like, say Complex or somebody else. Not saying anybody listens to them, but the general population, what they would give it.
I wish Complex would release a video or article where they literally are basing who's a bigger artist off of sales.
Many people.
Come on, Complex.
Many people
Not
would
Complex, but sales for anybody is a horrible gauge of being bigger, because at this point, because to me, sales don't necessarily equate to fandom all the time. They don't equate to people actually rocking with you. They don't equate to reach. They equate to somebody having access to your music and downloading it. That don't mean they rock with you. That don't mean you their favorite. That just mean it was accessible. Like, think of how, like, if things weren't accessible, we were back in the days where you had to go buy a CD or you had to buy a single that somebody dropped. Like, then what would that look like? Would people care enough? You know, especially, and I think the thing now is, and I think a lot of the argument, you have the ability to, it's all about just listening. Like, you're not even listening for quality, you listening to make an opinion. Which, I mean, the opinion is like on the quality, but at the same time, it's like, you want to listen to be able to say, I heard it, not so much. And it may not be something that you were dying to hear, but you don't want to be out the loop. And hearing it, you know, I don't know. I don't like the idea of streaming in any conversation about impact, reach, or anything that's relevant in terms of artistry, because I just don't feel like it gauges any of that whatsoever.
Also, another thing about Drake, I didn't know that he had put an interview out where he was talking about the reason why he doesn't do that many stadium.
Talk about the Rap Radar interview.
Talking about his stadium tours as opposed to Beyonce, and those are another one of those factors who sell out more. Like, I feel like all of these things go into when you talking about who's the bigger artist. Your tours, you would say not music sales. I would say it is. Like, that, to me, that is still a part of impact. Tour, sales, music quality, the overall scope for me, I feel like Beyonce is still, and when you talk about R&B, Beyonce is number one. There isn't anybody right now that would come close.
She's not even an R&B artist for real.
however you want to put it, Beyonce as a singer, Beyonce is that top girl. As a singer,
well, yeah.
As an artist, I ain't even gonna say her.
She's the top girl in music.
True.
In music, not just R&B.
And with the thing with Drake, it's hard to sit there and say
Drake's not the top man.
Exactly. He's not the top
man.
Even with hip hop, because
I give him rap.
I pose it like this: when Kendrick Lamar comes back, do you think Drake is still going?
Kendrick is. I'm a Kendrick fan. Everybody knows I'm a Kendrick fan. Kendrick stan, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick is not bigger than Drake, which is extremely unfortunate. I don't understand why. But when you talk about impact, reach, Drake is bigger because, like we said before, like Drake is a celebrity. So he is bigger. He's bigger than his music. Kendrick, in a lot of ways, in comparison at least, is not bigger past his music. That's not to say Kendrick doesn't do stuff outside of music. He clearly does. But when you look at the life that Drake lives, like all those type of things, we have more insight into that. There are more people that want to have a taste of that, whereas with somebody like Kendrick, we don't know what's going on with Kendrick until he releases music.
So let me ask you this: do you think it is harder to be a well-known hip hop artist as opposed to a well-known singer?
It's music. I don't. That's a dumb conversation to me. Because it's like, I don't know. Because it's just like it's still the music industry. Like, yeah, they different genres, but they're so associated that it's just like,
I feel like it's easier for a singer though to cross over to different genres than it is a hip hop artist.
What genre you crossing over to if you a hip hop?
Let's say hip hop artist that's you getting tapped for a soundtrack, and the singer is a pop artist as opposed to another singer that's jumping on just jumping on a pop track. That is different.
What you mean?
What do you mean? Like, so say for instance, a pop artist, let's say Katy Perry or Ariana Grande teaming up with Beyonce, as opposed to I just think it's more well known.
As opposed to teaming up with who? Finish the statement.
I ain't gonna say Drake. I feel like.
But even if she did, why would that collaboration be bad? Or what?
I'm not saying the collaboration. What I'm saying is not the collaboration would be bad. I just feel like you say it's music and forget the genres and stuff like that. But I feel like it is harder for hip hop artists to reach that stratosphere to say that I'm globally well known rather than a singer. You have to perform. Most hip hop artists, they're not fucking performing when they're on tours. They just
shit. It's a lot of singers that ain't really performing.
But the great ones, like which we talking about, Beyonce, she puts on the entire show, which sets her apart from a lot of different artists.
Yeah. So it's okay. So the point you are making, in essence, is I guess what? Because I hear your points, but like, what are your definitive end to that, or your definitive kind of end of this statement?
So basically saying, for a singer, when you have them elements that most people are looking for in a singer, performance and all that shit like that, it'll be easier for you to be kind of, I don't want to say globally known, but just for people to gravitate to you more. I feel like, and that's just my personal opinion. As far as,
so are you saying that's what makes Beyonce the bigger artist?
Her performance, hell yeah.
Well, no, I'm not talking about performance. You're saying as a singer, it's easier to do those things. Are you saying because she's a singer as opposed to a rapper, that's so it's easier for her to be bigger because she can reach more people?
I feel like it's easier for that element of her performances. And that, to me, yes, that's what make it bigger.
That's not an element, because Drake could be a great performer if he was meant to be or if he wanted to.
It's harder for hip hop artists to be a performer. No, it's not. How is it not?
No, it's not.
Do you see any hip hop artists going out there dancing their fucking ass off and people saying, yeah, that nigga put on...
Okay, but my thing is this. Even if hip hop, look at somebody like Kendrick. It's not about dancing. It's about the delivery.
But would you compare Kendrick to a Beyonce as far as performance?
Kendrick in rap is the performer that Beyonce is. In rap. Whoa. In rap. Who is?
I would say Kanye West before Kendrick.
Sure. I give you Ye back then. I give you Ye. I give you that. I give you Ye and Kendrick. But even in that regard, you can perform in hip hop. If you can be a performer, you can be somebody that steals the show, that sets the stage in rap. It'll look different. Now you won't be dancing, but it could be how your stage is set up. It could be all the things that are included in your show. So don't make it seem like you can't be a great performer in rap, because you can. Drake just is not, and because Beyonce is, don't mean it's easier because she sing. She just a great performer in general.
Okay, so does that knock with how you just broke it down? Using you saying Kendrick is a great performer in rap, Drake is not. We know the whole scope that Beyonce is, and your opinion, who would you say, because you just put those elements out there, who is the bigger artist? Like, I know, like you said, Drake is a celebrity, Beyonce is a celebrity, but I feel like Beyonce name rings bigger than it does Drake.
Yeah,
like, even if they
wholeheartedly agree.
Even if they was to drop at the same time, I feel like many more.
Be careful what you about to say, because you made a statement where you thought people was gonna listen to. You already said there was somebody you thought people was gonna listen to before Beyonce. I think it was Drake. It was Drake. Yeah.
It was Drake.
So what are you about to say? I'm trying to figure out if you've been a renege or not. Cause I would love that. I would love to hear you renege live on camera. I would love that. I really would.
Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna have to stand 10 toes on what I said. I feel like
I would love to know where you about to go with this then.
I feel like, and this is just me speaking for me. I can't speak for the general population. I'm gonna listen to.
You have to say it for the general population. You have to consider that, because we could talk about us all day, but the question is, considering the general population,
okay,
but also looking at ourselves.
I'm gonna have to be real. I'm gonna have to renege on it, saying that I would listen to Beyonce before Drake.
Yes,
but
sir.
I will be honest and say, at the end of the day, Beyonce is still that. No matter what you go listen to first, I feel like the impact is still gonna be Beyonce more than Drake.
Yeah, I think my final take on it would be, I don't think. So it's funny. So when people were having a conversation about it, at least from what I heard, there aren't too many people that would deny that Beyonce is the better artist. Mm-hmm. I think Beyonce does give us more quality music. I think from a production standpoint of everything that she does, she has her hands in more, and because of that, she's able to give us more quality. Not saying that, of course, Drake has very quality work. I just think he has more drop-offs, whereas Beyonce doesn't. Like, you look at, like, a lot of people don't like the Carters, but that's it. But a lot of people don't like the Carters because they don't like Jay. That shit was so. But it was a solid tape. You know what I'm saying? So when I think about when you think about Big, I also look at this. Beyonce got tapped to do a whole soundtrack and curate it. Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to see Drake in the position to do that. I don't see that happening. Mm-mm. And I think that in some degree can attest to maybe not so much.
Do you believe it's because of the sound?
Nah, well, because my thing is, I don't think Drake is not an artist that can't adapt. Like, he has multiple sounds. So I think, Drake doesn't have, and this may not more so go into the bigger artist argument. Like, okay, so basically, how they would get to the point of doing a soundtrack is not the argument I'm trying to make. But what I'm saying is the fact that they were able to do one. So, like, the fact that Beyonce was able to do a whole album for The Lion King, that's a whole nother fan base. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't know Beyonce before and you was just a fan of The Lion King by chance,
you know her now.
Now you know Beyonce. Think of all the kids who are seeing the live version of Lion King that didn't see the animated version, and their association with The Lion King is also now attached to Beyonce.
True.
So I think in that realm, when you think of that, when you look at performance, when you look at the fact that she's a better performer, when you look at the fact that she would have more sales if her shit was available on all the streaming platforms. If her shit was on Apple Music, she'd be blowing Drake out the water. Facts. So when you want to talk about bigger, you got to realize that there's a lot of access we have to Drake that we don't have to Beyonce. So when you want to look at numbers, it's not really the best gauge. So that's why for me, it's closer. I don't think people give Drake the credit for being as big as he is outside of rap.
People don't want to give Drake that tier just.
Well, that's because Drake makes it hard to give him that credit, because Drake is head ass, and Drake, because it would, to me, if Drake was just way more, like, if he was just way more chill about it, like, and not saying he can't talk his shit, but if he was just way more, like, if he didn't want to if he didn't feel like he had to let you know everything that he has access to, then it would kind of be more. To me it would be more impressive. But I feel like he has to push it down our throats.
Bearded Drake ain't the same as 5 o'clock Shadow Drake. 5 o'clock Shadow Drake was on his shit, was like, it was hungrier. It was that, what you just said, unapologetic, that I'm going to talk my shit. Now it's like, we know that you're one of the biggest artists in the game of music all around, but it's like, he's still on his wave. It's like, I have something to prove. You don't got shit to prove.
He don't. And
drop the quality work that we're expecting. Sit the fuck back and just, literally eat up sales. Why?
I think people have to take yourself outside of a fan of music, and you have to be like, why? Drake is in a rare position that few get to, where it don't matter what he does. Yeah. It literally does not matter. He can release a trash song, but because of the way things are set up, it's gonna get streamed just for people to have the opinion on whether it's trash or not. So the numbers are always gonna be in his favor, which means that's money. So if I'm him and I know I can drop quality whenever I want to, I'm in no rush to do so. It is fucked up, for fans, because we want to see the quality music and hear the quality music. But from him, like, as much as I'm pretty sure he cares about his fans, like, he's also still a business at the end of the day. He's also gonna maximize what he's doing. But because of that, I'm gonna double down and wrap up by saying, because of that in itself, because you have the ability to create quality work and you choose not to on a relatively consistent basis, and you choose to kind of give us stuff that that's not timeless, or stuff that is below where you could be, whereas Beyonce doesn't do that and is in the same position of people eating up whatever she drops. I think that is more to her being better, in my personal opinion. But then also you kind of consider all those things and everything, taking her time, and you take all that and then also add the stuff that Drake has an advantage of simply because she's not even in the conversation for it. That makes her bigger. Like, she has the same pull, same reach, same impact, and you don't even got to bring up sales to keep her in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's I think that's the big thing. But it's a great conversation to have with somebody who's willing to be open-minded about it, and not just, oh, I'm a Beyonce stan, oh, I'm a Drake stan. I'm just standing on that side because that's who I rock with. So
I'm a fan of hip-hop before anything, but respectively,
I'm a fan of music in general, so that's definitely grown over time. Like, I didn't listen to Beyonce growing up, but I would say for obvious reasons, mainly because, of course, like, back then, given the times, like, ain't like I had nobody around me listening to Beyonce. One, like, I could feel comfortable back then by myself, just like, hey, ma, I'm trying to buy this Beyonce CD. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as you get older,
Me, Myself, and I is every
it's
nigga's
a hit. No, I get
every nigga's anthem.
But
it's not even a women's anthem. It's every nigga's
but even
anthem.
back
it's not
then,
an anthem. It's just the one Beyonce song.
Exactly. It's just like,
that don't make it an anthem.
It is.
But back then, I wouldn't.
Anthem is something I can relate to.
I was skipping back then.
Is it not you, yourself, and you until the end? Is that not what you found out at one point in time?
Okay, maybe at one point in time.
There you go.
I was gonna say
you're
not
related
now,
to it.
Clearly,
Yeah.
I'm good, but
True.
right? Niggas is straight, but I mean, I feel that though. But I think that does speak to it is adding that factor too. That I think a lot of people don't give Beyonce the crossover appeal because in terms of gender, I think a lot of people write off that men listen. That men don't listen.
Hell
like,
yeah,
men listen.
What the
men
fuck?
listen to be. I know some men that will go to a Beyonce concert or buy their tickets first before women will. Like, it goes that way, and that has nothing to do with how you identify. Like, just in general, like, straight men, like all types of men.
She make good fucking music.
She make good music.
Simple as
so
that.
I think that. But I think but as we talk about Drake, I think something that is important to note about Drake is, of course, who he comes from, like who he's a product of. You gotta talk about Wayne, and I think if you think about it honestly, Wayne and Drake have parallel careers in the sense of how they are seen in not only rap but in music. So you look at how we just talked about Drake is seen as a celebrity. And he releases music at this rate, and we know he can make quality music. He has before, but he has a lot that, like, not so much that you could do without it, but he has a lot that's subpar to the talent that a lot of people believe him to have. I think Wayne is the same way. I think Wayne released a lot of music that just was not his best. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the Wayne we felt like, you know,
after his prime.
After his prime for sure. But I think what differs for Wayne for me is that, you know, Wayne brought so much. Like you have to have a conversation about Wayne because Wayne brought so much to rap, especially the way rap is now. Like rap is not the way it is now without Wayne at all. So I think Wayne is legendary in that regard, to where he started a lot. Wayne had a run that I don't think will ever really be matched. When you talk about runs in rap, from his own albums to his features to mixtapes, like his run was ridiculous.
Just the crossover appeal that he did, like,
and I think the crazy thing is, like, as much as he tried to do other genres, like he always had the crossover appeal to also be featured in other genres. Like he could go on a pop song,
rock song, country song,
and even if it wasn't the greatest, I don't think you could ever really say Wayne didn't fit.
You was gonna take that verse and like, okay,
for what it is,
that was a Wayne verse,
but he still fit. Even if it was like, you know, he better rapping, but he still fit in that pop song, or he fit in that rock song. But you know, so I bring up Wayne because, and it's funny that I bring up Wayne because this question that I'm about to pose is funny to me because I've never seen. Wayne is a great rapper, but in as much as he is the king of metaphors and stuff like that, I've never seen him as a lyricist. I've never viewed Wayne as a lyricist, and that's no disrespect to him as a rapper. Just never viewed him as a lyricist. But somebody posed a question, verse for verse, bar for bar. Who you taking, Wayne or Andre 3000? So I feel this is a very stupid question though.
Okay, so if we're talking pure skill, Andre 3000 is top 10 of all time. Let's just say that there.
Verse for verse, bar for bar.
Andre 3000 is, nigga, he should be on everybody's, you know what the fuck I'm saying. As far as hip hop, Andre is up there. I feel like a lot of people try to throw Wayne in that conversation as a lyricist because of the punchlines that he give and certain songs that how it flows off the beat. But like, let's be honest, when you talk lyricism, I'm talking about from the time that song start to the time it finish, like that person is literally talking their shit, and it's just like not just the punchline, like, cause those got to be included as well. But like Wayne will say some shit and you'll just be like, damn, how the fuck you throw that together? Versus Andre saying some shit and there's substance of what he's throwing together.
I think to me that's the huge difference. I think I don't really take a lot away from Wayne from a skill standpoint because it's still. I mean, the whole thing about him never writing stuff, I mean, that's okay. I don't truly. Well, actually, I do believe it because he do be saying some off the wall shit.
Right, some crazy shit.
But I really wouldn't take away his skill because that's still something only he can do. So I wouldn't take that away from him. But substance is the key for me because when you're talking verse for verse, bar for bar, it all depends on what you're looking for in that verse or what you consider personally be a cold ass bar. There's a lot of people that feel like Wayne's punchlines are, you know, the coldest shit ever because they may fuck with punchlines, you know, and that's cool. Like if that's what you look for, then by all means. When you talk about substance, like I'm gonna take an entendre, I'm gonna take an entendre, I'm gonna take similes, I'm gonna take the only thing I might take Wayne before 3 Stacks in is the use of onomatopoeia and alliteration.
True, definitely. Yeah.
I take Wayne in that. But when you're talking about substance, when you're talking about
all around lyrics,
when you're talking about like if I want to get something from a verse, I'm going like if you're telling me like from this, like I want to who can give me the harder 16. I just think 3 Stacks is more versatile in that because he can talk his shit, but he can also tell a story. But he can also get real diabolical. But he can also get real deep into a multitude of subjects, which I just don't think Wayne. I don't know if Wayne really tapped into it. I don't really want to go on record saying he couldn't. We just never saw him do it. And so for that,
I want to add the fact that like even after the primal years of both artists, like when you still hear an Andre 3000 verse today on somebody's song, there's still substance in it. Like there's still a lot of quality. There's still a lot of lyrics in that motherfucker where it's like, damn nigga, like you this old and still like slicing that bitch up. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to Wayne is just like, okay, we got a lighter flicker. You know what I'm saying? We
Even though the lighter flicker is legendary.
It's fucking legendary, but it's like, my nigga, like, slice that damn beat up of what we expecting as opposed to you saying some bullshit.
But I also think that's the thing, and it's something that you say a lot. Because you just mentioned about Drake, you mentioned about Wayne. I think sometimes we gotta be a little bit more realistic with our expectations. I don't expect Wayne to slice a lot of shit. That's never been the rapper that Wayne is. Wayne is a punchline rapper. So that's what you should expect. I think we want, because the punchlines are solid, I think we want Wayne to be a little bit more. I think we give Wayne skills that he doesn't have. Like, in our head, we want Wayne to have skills that he doesn't have. And that's not a knock to him. But people want Wayne to be super diabolical. People want Wayne to be super lyrical. They try to make him be super lyrical. And he's not. And if he will never lose his legend status, but you don't have to give him the things that he never showed.
Exactly. If Wayne was super lyrical like everybody was expected, the Carter 5 would have never flopped. Funeral would have never.
I mean, a lot of his albums post. I mean, you gotta think, a lot of people don't see a lot of his albums past
the Carter 3,
and a lot of people don't even like 3 as a cohesive album. 3 is the Carter 3 is obviously the biggest album and the album that sent him to superstardom. Yeah. But when you compare it to
Carter 2,
but when you compare it to the Carter 2, Carter 1, a lot of people gonna take those albums over the Carter 3. So I think that was took him to superstardom, but then I won't say it was a drop off because you still got mixtape Wayne, but I think you just get to a point where, again, Wayne hit a area where it don't matter what I do, people gonna listen.
And I think when you're talking about as we started with Drake, that shows the great, predecessor and successor that you have. Like, literally, it's like you can understand like who Drake had above him, because as Wayne does that, Drake is clearly doing that. Doesn't matter what the fuck I drop, motherfuckers gonna eat that shit up. So I'm gonna keep doing that shit. Just like, for instance, his lead single from the new album he just announced with Dirk. Is it a Laugh Now? Yeah. Is it a good song? Yes. Is it a timeless song?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. But I'll end that part of the conversation with this as far as like Drake is concerned. I don't know if Drake is concerned with making timeless music anymore.
I feel like that was a big ass mic drop.
Silent gas.
You know what's so crazy? I feel like that in the early stages of his career, we got enough Drake that's timeless that is just like, all right.
That's a fair argument.
We came to an understanding that it's like that work, it was amazing, and we should have like really relished in it at that time. But it's like, it is what it is.
It's a lot of music that we won't relish, that we don't relish in that time. But I guess the last thing I will say is that, and I've said that like 3 times. This is really the last thing I'm gonna say about this time. But I think like the fact that a lot of Drake's early work was dropped in an era where music wasn't being dropped at such a high rate, I think it leaves room for us to be able to still cherish it, type shit. Bam, cool. Yeah, man. So with all that talk about Wayne, like when we interviewed Slow, we interviewed Che. I feel like anybody we talked to would kind of, because we were asking people like who they Mount Rushmore is, and so I think there's a lot of people that undoubtedly would put Wayne in the top 5 rapper all time. But I'm asking us as the interlude, do you think that undoubtedly, for certain, do you think Wayne is a top 5 rapper all time?
This is a thought that I had to really debate myself about a lot, because when you talk about the top 5 artists of all time, it's a lot that goes into that. And then when you bring in the people that just want to strictly say hip hop and all that shit like that, I understand that. What Wayne has done for the music industry himself, the people that he's put on, not a lot of fucking people has done that as far as
I completely agree.
Artist wise.
I completely agree.
When you want to talk about top 5, you have to get Wayne in there. Wayne is a generational artist that shit in the early years of the early 2000s to his streak, where we knew Wayne was that nigga, to the fall off into where he's at now. Wayne has literally wrapped his career up into one is like I've said previously, he doesn't have to do anything else. Like if Wayne
don't have to release music no more.
He doesn't. Like he's had a successful career that even with the midst of him, you know, the controversy that he's had, we all know that Wayne is that nigga when it comes to music. The music, the mixtapes he's dropped, the albums that he's dropped, the features that he's done, the fucking skinny jeans skateboard wave that he had that a lot of people tapped into. Like,
I'm so weak.
Wayne that nigga. I'm gonna have to say Wayne is definitely a top 5 artist of all time. It was a hard debate for me for the longest that I didn't want to, you know, because I was biased. But when you sit down and look at the credibility that comes with his name and what he's done, yeah, for sure. Where would you put Wayne?
I agree completely. He has to be there, and I think it's important that people note that the question is he undoubtedly a top 5 rapper of all time? Like you said, you'll have people that'll make it specifically about, you know, hip hop, and I still think Wayne truly embodies a lot of hip hop culture. So don't get me wrong. But when you talk about like rapper, we just talk about rap artists, like not necessarily hip hop in terms of the true lyricism and having more of a style that's based in that.
Hell yeah.
I don't think you can, like I said, I don't think you can think and see rap today without seeing too many offsprings of Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, he's a generational talent, and what Wayne was able to do in the industry, like you said, a lot of people can't do. And when I talk about the runs he went on, when I talk about a mix of having enough quality work yourself and impacting the next generation, those two combined are undoubtedly. Then you got to think about it. The biggest female artist in rap, arguably, is a direct Wayne found her. We do not know Nicki Minaj as we do today. One could really say.
A lot of people will argue her with her Gucci days and shit.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like
mainstream push,
her being signed to Young Money propelled her name
for sure.
So what I'm saying is like, and we don't know if she may have signed to somebody else and the same thing might have happened. We don't know that, but what we do know is once she got to Young Money, that's when things happened.
It was a fucking rap.
And you can't deny Wayne's presence of that. Like in between 2000. Look, I look at it like this. Carter 3 was in what, 08?
08.
So you gotta think. Drake and Nicki both
09.
They hit so you gotta think.
A year later.
So Wayne is already up here at this point. Anybody that he finds is already gonna kind of see the benefits of being associated and attached to him. And then her and Drake both took their own stardom to new levels. But that's still a 3-headed monster that I don't even know has been touched by any other label. I think undoubtedly Wayne's a top 5 rapper of all time. I think you can put him there and understand that, did he put out, is his discography stellar? No. Does he have, some may argue, but I think if we're speaking objectively, he doesn't have a stellar discography.
For sure.
But you can't, you can't ignore impact. You can't ignore relevance even, to a degree. So I think in that regard, you got to put him up there if you're talking about rap artists, like people who just, because of his influence and impact alone, he has to be top 5. And on top of that, we not talking about him like he trash. Like clearly Wayne is a legend. He's considered a GOAT, and rightfully so. So I think it's easy, but like you said, I think there's a lot of people. You have your people who will agree with everything we said, or you have your people who feel like Wayne can do no wrong, or you got your people who feel like Wayne is trash. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
People feel,
and that's it. But when you look at music, and if you just love music in general, if you love hip hop, if you love whatever, like the urban scene of music, that was a point in time where you didn't see everywhere you look. Lil Wayne was right fucking there. Like, facts. So you can't, like, I'm gonna be 100. Like, you can't sit there and argue and say that he's not in that conversation of like how we just broke it down. Then, like when you stated Wayne is a very punchline rapper, nigga, everything today as far as rap outside of hip hop, when you talk about that genre of rap, all these niggas just are punchline rappers. That's it. Then outside of that, we know Thug, even though he's not a direct spawn of Wayne, you know what I'm saying?
Pretty much is. And that's not a knock to Thug at all. But Thug is just Wayne in modern times. Yeah. That's really all it is. Thug is Wayne in modern times when you think of you know, like of course how he dressed, you know, kind of how he acts, stuff like that. But literally in almost every aspect, he's Wayne. The way, like the kind of artist that he is, the way he's put other artists on.
Fuck yeah.
Same exact way for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much on Wayne. I think we could all agree, you know, us with common sense, that Wayne is undoubtedly top 5 all time.
All time.
Yeah. Last thing I want to do before we end this first episode, man. By the time y'all seeing this, it would have been some time before it happened. But I think it would be naive of us not to talk about the passing of Chadwick Boseman. A true icon, man, like a legendary actor, like, and there's so much, you know, we could say, and I don't want to bring it up to make it more of a conversation, but just more so to the point of, for him to do everything he did for our culture, that to me, that's what, over the last 24 hours of hearing about it, that's what I've been thinking about, is and what he did for our culture, and then also what he did in the time of knowing that his days were numbered.
Right.
I think that is, and when I sit here and think about, you know, what we want to do with the interlude, and understanding that 2020 been a shitty year, but you know, nothing is promised. You know, you never know when your last day is. You know, so I look at that, and I look at, you know, us, and I'm like, we got to keep going, and we gotta, and if it's not doing it for him, it's doing it with the understanding of his mindset, his mentality, you know, his mission. He wanted to give us, you know, everything he had, and it wasn't, he didn't want the empathy or the sympathy of us knowing, you know, he has every right to that, but I think he didn't want that. So as this day came, and when this happened, what he's getting is what he deserves, because we all went to see them movies not because we knew he was sick and because we knew it would be some of his last movies. We just knew he was great at what he was doing.
And the fact that was a silent battle that, you know, he put up for those many years, and like, he's done so many iconic black roles that
James Brown being one of them, man, to keep it, you know, affiliated with
Marshall,
music, you know, like, so, you know, his
impact alone is just like, it's just, shit is amazing. Definitely condolences to his family and stuff like that. And I don't know, they just kind of make you put everything into perspective about this year, and just like you said about the interlude and the impact that we can have alone. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just, yeah, man, it's
it's, you know, it's time. But yeah, man, that's it. That's episode 1 of the interlude for season 3. Y'all just stay tuned, man. This this season is about to get jiggy. It's about to get crazy. But yeah, man, until next time, till we see y'all. Peace.
In your bag for the day, you looking bad as you wanna. Thought you had a man, I made a fat as a sum, turning necks and pumping.